Tonight, a severe weather outbreak in the Northeast. Tornadoes touching down in western New York.
Look at that.
This one near Forestville, about 40 miles southwest of Buffalo.
That is incredible.
Officials in Eden declaring a state of emergency due to damage there. And multiple tornado warnings near Syracuse.
You can see the 4 separate tornado warnings that are currently in effect across central New York.
Overnight, this EF3 twister in Mount Vernon, Indiana, with winds of 140 miles per hour, demolishing a warehouse and several mobile homes. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
Oh, my Lord.
The storms supercharged by tropical moisture from one-time Category 5 Hurricane Beryl and extreme heat. In Philadelphia, excessive heat warnings for feel-like temperatures over 100 degrees. The NYPD mourning the death of a 33-year-old recruit, Edgar Ordonez, who died today after losing consciousness at a training facility in the Bronx, possibly from heat stroke. In the West, record-breaking heat fueling the lake fire outside Santa Barbara, scorching more than 45 square miles. And in southeast Texas, where nearly 3 million people lost power in Beryl. Still, more than 1.5 million are in the dark tonight, and officials still can't say how long it will be until power is restored.
David, here in Central Park tonight, it is hot, it is humid, it is sticky, and still at this point of the evening, it feels like 90 degrees. Thankfully, that heat alert is set to expire later tonight, but it won't last long. Another heat wave is in the forecast for next week. David?
In fact, so much of the country going through this. Ariel Reshef leading us off. Thank you, Ariel. Let's get right to WABC meteorologist Lee Goldberg with the new timing for these storms and, of course, these watches that have just now been extended. Hi, Lee.
Hi, David. Extended till midnight into New England, but a new active tornado warning north of Binghamton. You're in the path of these storms. Have a plan to get to a place of safety, basement, interior room, away from windows. This watch will go till midnight, but we still have a threat through the Adirondacks this evening and ultimately into parts of Vermont and New Hampshire, a flood threat as well. You know, Beryl has been a prolific tornado maker since it made landfall, and now it's bringing its twisting and turning to the northeast. As we go through the overnight, the storms will weaken after about 2 or 3 a.m., and then it's just tropical downpours. The one benefit is we get a little relief from the extreme humidity. At least it'll feel like only lower 90s rather than triple digits. You will notice the difference in the northeast, but that'll come right back with tropical downpours on Friday. The heat is endless out west from Reno all the way to Rapid City, record highs into the weekend. David?
Lee Goldberg back with us tonight from WABC. Lee, thank you. Of course, the other major story tonight, the breaking news involving President Biden. The president on the world stage again today, hosting that high-stakes NATO meeting in Washington. But one of the major headlines today involved former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. She was asked if the president should stay in the race, and her choice of words made immediate news. And the influential Democratic donor, actor George Clooney, with a plea to the president to get out of the race, saying, "You saved democracy and you must do so again by getting out." And what else Clooney said today. But it was the former speaker, Nancy Pelosi, saying, "We're all encouraging President Biden to make his decision because time is running short," in her words. But the president has already said he's staying in this race. So what's going on here? Here's Rachel Scott.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. President Biden just moments ago welcoming the new British Prime Minister to the Oval Office, hoping to turn the page from the crisis engulfing his campaign. The president has defiantly rejected calls to drop out, insisting he's staying in the race and urging Democrats to rally around him. Still today, the powerful former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, went on television and said she'll support whatever decision the president makes. But she was pressed, hasn't he already announced he's staying in the race?
It's up to the president to decide if he is going to run. We're all encouraging him to make that decision because time is running short. I think overwhelming support of the caucus. It's not for me to say. I'm not the head of the caucus anymore. But he's beloved. He is respected, and people want him to make that decision, not me.
He has said he has made the decision. He has said firmly this week he is going to run. Do you want him to run?
I want him to do whatever he decides to do, and that's the way it is. Whatever he decides, we go with.
Pelosi urging Democrats to give the president space until the NATO conference ends this week.
I think it's really important, and I would hope everyone would join in, to let him deal with this NATO conference. And I've said to everyone, let's just hold off. Whatever you're thinking, either tell somebody privately, but you don't have to put that out on the table until we see how we go this week.
But Pelosi's suggestion that Biden's decision might not be final sent shockwaves rippling through the Capitol, where I caught up with her.
Do you believe that him waiting so long to make this decision could harm the party?
Any comments in the hallway about the fate of our nation? Okay?
Are you concerned whether or not he can win in November?
I think he can win in November.
Do you believe he should run for re-election?
I'm not speaking English to you. I'm not going to be making any statements about any of that right now in the hallway.
At a meeting of NATO leaders, the president asked about Pelosi's comments. Hours later, another blow. The New York Times publishing this op-ed from actor and Democratic megadonor George Clooney. I love Joe Biden, but we need a new nominee. Just 3 weeks ago, Clooney raised $30 million for the president at a star-studded Hollywood fundraiser. But today, Clooney writes, "It's devastating to say it, but the Joe Biden I was with 3 weeks ago at the fundraiser was not the Joe Biden of 2010. He wasn't even the Joe Biden of 2020. He was the same man we all witnessed at the debate." Clooney was blunt. We are not going to win in November with this president. On top of that, we won't win the House, and we're going to lose the Senate. This isn't only my opinion. This is the opinion of every senator and Congress member and governor that I've spoken with in private. Every single one, irrespective of what he or she is saying publicly. Clooney, a major player in Democratic politics, ending with this. Joe Biden is a hero. He saved democracy in 2020. We need him to do it again in 2024. But tonight, the president giving no indications he's dropping out.
4 more years! 4 more years!
The first president to walk a picket line, making a personal visit to the headquarters of the crucial labor powerhouse, the AFL-CIO.
We're better positioned than any country in the world to own the remainder of the 21st century because of union labor.
The brief appearance meant to send the signal that unions are on his side.
So let's bring in Rachel Scott live at the Capitol again tonight. Rachel, tomorrow, top officials from the Biden campaign are expected to head up to Capitol Hill to make the case to Democrats as to why they should rally behind the president. On the flip side, you've also learned tonight that House Democratic Speaker Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, I should say, has promised his members he'll take their concerns to the president. So it would appear messages are going back and forth here.
Yes, David, I'm told Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has invited top advisors from the Biden campaign to meet directly with Senate Democrats to address their concerns about his campaign and the path forward. Meanwhile, we know that Leader Hakeem Jeffries has been doing a round of meetings with his members, promising to relay their concerns directly to the president. David.
Rachel Scott live up on the Hill. Rachel, thank you. One more quick question on this tonight. Let's get right to Mary Bruce live at the White House. And Mary, the White House had to have been listening very closely to former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi today. She's still very influential, of course. And you heard there, Pelosi suggested today, give the president the week and that she'll stand behind whatever decision he makes. But you've reported here the president has said he's staying in this race. So this certainly does not appear to be settled.
No, it certainly does not. Look, even as the president tries to turn the page here with this NATO summit here in Washington, the president, the White House, his campaign have all been adamant that he has made up his mind and that he isn't going anywhere. It was just 2 days ago that the president sent that letter to Democrats stating bluntly, quote, "I am firmly committed to staying in this race." And he hasn't been budging, which is why Pelosi's comments today were so surprising. Tonight, his campaign is clear-eyed that it is going to take a lot of work here to get everyone on the same page. And tomorrow will be a critical test of that. The president facing reporters in a rare solo news conference. And we, of course, will be carrying it live here on ABC right before World News Tonight, David.
We will carry that live with you, Mary. And Mary, laser-focused, even with the band behind her, for these NATO events at the White House. Mary, thank you.